back to Rich Bag Creations. As you just saw, we got ourselves a brand new intro that we have been working on for quite some time now, so we hope you guys enjoy. Today I'm going to make the Mooncalf from Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, and in the end of the video I'm going to announce the winner of the 500 subscriber giveaway, since we have reached over 500 subscribers. But before that, let's get started. So first of all, I'm just going to try and make some eye shapes for the Mooncalf. This is the first time I'm using liquid clay, so it's a little bit of experimentation for me. I see that it is pretty fluid and is running a little bit to all of the sides, so I might have to build up the height of the eyeball a little bit by baking it several times with new layers on the old ones. And it's difficult to see, but some of them I managed to make some air bubbles, so I guess I could just take a needle and pop them out. But just be careful when you press this down and make sure that if you do get an air bubble, just try to push it to one of the edges. I'm just going to pop these in the oven like I would with my normal clay, and hopefully they will come out alright. So after I took them out of the oven, they look like this. They're a little bit translucent, but not as much that I had hoped for, but I'm just gonna go with it no matter. So, but if you want a more translucent eye, I would probably recommend using epoxy or resin. So I got ahead and painted a couple of eyes, trying to figure out what I want. Here I'm happy with the size of the pupil, but here I'm more happy with the background color. So now I'm just gonna show how I paint, and you have to paint the reversed way, which means that the details has to go first and then goes the background color in the end. And I'm just rolling it around until I have a shape that I'm happy with. And you can just flip it around and check if it looks good. So after the black has dried, I'm just going to go now and dab some white mixed with some green and blue, and that's pretty much the colors I'm going to use on the entire eye. So you want some sort of teal ombre effect going on the eye, and you can turn it around and look at it and work with it, looking at it from the right side as you go along. Just continue mixing in a little bit more darker colors each time, taking in some more blue and green into the white, and then just dabbing it on. And it's okay to be a little bit more random, that will look more natural in the end. And that is pretty much how you make the colors for the eye. You can be much more detailed than this and use your time to get the eye that you want. And now it's time to sculpt the body of the Mooncalf. For the base of the body, I just made a sort of boot jelly bean shape, and the feet is going to be attached here after it's baked, and the neck as well. So I'm just cutting up the clay a little bit on the back because I'm trying to make a little tail. It is hard in the movie to see if they actually have a tail or what kind of tail. I'm just making one that I would imagine that they could probably have, a little cow tail or stump of a tail. So since I'm going to add the neck and the feet after I baked it once, now I'm just going to focus on the texture of the body. Since I'm not adding any hair on the outside, I'm going to try to make a fluffy hair texture on the clay itself. Before I'm going to add the texture, I'm actually going to use a piece of steel, one of those that you can buy for jewelry, and I just twisted it around and made a little hook. And having these going each direction, it makes sure that the hook won't come out after it's baked. It will be nice and secure inside the little calf. So I'm just going to twist that in and work the clay around. Make sure that it is sticking nicely and blending in. So for the legs of the Mooncalf, I'm just rolling out a piece of clay and I'm making a ball on the tip, and now I'm just going to press the ball tool down and 2 dots and start making a little duck foot because they have little duck feet. I'm just going to shape it into sort of a triangle really quickly. And you might have to lift it up and sort of squeeze the little toes together. So for the legs, I'm just attaching them to the body, and while looking at some reference pictures, I'm just going to drag the clay into the silhouette that I want. And I'm just going to texturize the legs and then put it upside down in the oven so the legs won't get squashed, and then I'm ready for the head after that. The body's out of the oven for the second time, and now I've just gone ahead and taken a ball of clay and just dumped it onto the neck. And now I'm just going to smooth the transition before I'm going to start with the details of the face and head. So that is the basic shape of the mooncalf. Now I'm going to go over and start sculpting the face. So I decided to make one that has its mouth closed. So I'm just going to start by making the snout stick out a little bit. Not much because they're pretty round in their face. Sort of like this. I'm just going to use my tool and press inwards, creating a little mouth. And I'm going to squeeze the clay together again just to narrow that down a little bit. I'm just going to continue working with it until I'm happy with it, and then I'm going to continue on with the eyes after that. So now just try to figure out the mouth, and now I'm just going to take the eyes and sort of squeeze into. It doesn't matter if it gets a little bit dirty, I'm going to fix that later on after it's baked. Just going to begin and squeeze in the eyes. Try not to deform the face at the same time because the clay is very soft. So I'm not completely happy with the silhouette of the mooncalf, so now I'm just texturizing it. Then I'm going to bake it, and then I'm just going to add on some small pieces here and there to just fill out the silhouette a little better, and then going to make some details around the eyes and add some ears. And that is pretty much it. So now it's out of the oven. I just added a little layer of clay on the neck just to thicken it up close to the head. So it goes from the body and then outwards. It's a really weird shape. And now I'm just texturizing that layer of clay. And I'm dragging it downwards in sort of triangles on the chest because it has a little bit of fur growing that way. For the eyes, I'm just adding a piece of rolled out clay the entire way around. And after I've done that, I'm just going to take my tool and smooth out the edges towards the skin of the calf. And then neaten up the edges around the eye as well. For the ears, I just flatten out a sort of triangle shape of thin clay. Then I'm just going to squeeze it together and sort of roll the end that's going to be attached to the head. And I'm just going to squeeze that into the rest of the clay and body. And then I'm just going to texturize that again afterwards. I'm just going to turn it around and sort of get it into the shape I want. So now it has been baked the last time. Unfortunately, my little mooncalf fell over in the oven, so this foot and this ear broke off. But I just glued it on with some super glue, and hopefully the seams won't be that visible once I'm finished with the paint. So the mooncalf is a dark blackish gray. And so now I'm just going over with some base coat with dark gray, and then I'm going to deepen and lighten the color here and there. So for the tip of the nose, I'm just going to try and dry brush a little lighter gray and generally get that in the face area around the eyes and towards the back of the head. I'm going to do it on the top of the ears as well. Taking the same gray, I'm just going to make some lines just to enhance the sort of triangle chest here that they have. And I'm just going to build up the color. I don't want to make too big, like much of a color at once. I just want to build it up slowly. After I went over with the gray, I'm now just going to go over with a little bit of silver on the snout area and on the tip of the ears, because it looks like they're almost shining in the movie, and I would imagine that the moonshine would reflect onto their skin since they are staring at the moon like little maniacs all the time. So just adding a little bit, not much. And then I'm going to add a little bit of pink on the little swimming feet and inside the ears. So little mooncalf is finished. I hope you guys enjoyed that little DIY. And for the winner of the elder one, I just drew a random name out of a random goblet. And the winner is Stacy Murphy. Congratulations. And that is everything for today, folks. Thank you so much for watching.